Everyone. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to FYI Friday. It is September 6th. We're so glad you are here. My name is Christine. I use the pronouns she, her, or they, them. I work for Oregon Health Authority. And we had asked if you would like to share your name and pronouns and your organization. And just for fun question, what was your favorite school lunch? And so I will share that mine was Salisbury steak. I remember loving that. And I remember hating the burgers. I thought they were the most disgusting thing. So how Salisbury steak was so great and the burger was so gross, I don't know. Seems pretty similar, but that is mine. So I'm just going to take a moment and read a few from the chat. Teresa, love the 80s. Thank you. So do I. And Halaka, Asian chicken salad. Wow, that is amazing. I did not have that in school. Jody, pizza day. Yes, classic. Pizza. Yes. Ooh, Leslie would go to DQ. I love that for you. I wasn't allowed to go off campus. Let's see here. Cardboard pizza with canned pineapple on the side. Yes. Packed lunches by mom. So many good ones. Kale cheese sticks with marinara sauce. Oh my gosh. I just want to read all the food in the chat. So thank you everyone for sharing. I know we will all go through and read these. I'm still scrolling. So many good ones. Looks like I'm the only Salisbury steak that I'm seeing. So maybe that's an Oklahoma thing. Dolly is shaking. Dolly, do you like it? No, you don't like it.
I'm sorry. I think it's an Oklahoma thing. I don't even know if I want to say it's an Oklahoma thing, but this one was hard for me because I really liked school breakfast better. I loved school breakfast. Them cinnamon rolls. Hi, good morning, everyone. Dolly England, she, her queen, community engagement strategies manager. Sorry, Christine. I can't agree with you on Salisbury steak.
All right, it's okay. I like to be unique anyway. So let's go ahead to the next slide, please. Oh, and shout out to Nathan for these great back to school themed slides. I love them, and I hope you enjoyed the Simple Minds song. That always reminds me of, was it Breakfast Club? One of those 80s movies. Anyways, so today's agenda, we're doing welcome and intro. We're gonna have leadership updates. We're gonna have fiscal updates. And then we have a special guest today, Tony Scott with Family Support and Connections, which I'm so excited is here. Worked very closely with this organization when I was at DHS. So it's nice to see you in this realm. And then we're going to feature some upcoming events and resources. And of course, we want to hold space for anything you would like to share and for what is on your mind. So excited you're here today. Next slide, please. Now I will pass it to our fearless leader, Dolly.
Hi, and good morning, everyone. Dolly England here. Um, Before I get to my slide, can I take a moment to welcome someone that is new to this space? I feel like there's quite a few people that are new to this space. Uh, but in particular, I would like to welcome CJ. And CJ is our new AmeriCorps Vista, and we're super excited to have her. You all are going to see CJ in a number of spaces, specifically as we build up our trainings and learnings. for you all. And then also with our community specific spaces. So if you haven't already connected with the Black African immigrant group, the Latino group, and I know all of these groups have names and I'm gonna butcher them and I'm really sorry, but we have community specific groups. So CJ will be supporting some of the work in those spaces as well. But I just want to, every time we have someone new join our team, I want to make sure to shout it out. So welcome, CJ. Okay, let's get to my updates. Y'all, corrective action is coming back. If you're a cohort 1 CBO and you know what
And
corrective action is,
thank you for welcoming everyone.
thank you, CJ. Okay, you're cohort 1 CBO, you know about corrective action, or you've tried to avoid corrective action. Hi, CJ. Corrective action cohort 2 CBOs is what happens when you are behind in submitting your expense reports, when you're behind in submitting your activity reports. If you are not being responsive to your CEC for requests for meetings, for getting things turned in, these are all reasons you might find yourself in corrective action. Now, we are moving through this process. I'm going to acknowledge that we've been a little behind, but it's about that time in this grant for us to start double checking that everybody's turning in their stuff and that you're doing what your work plan says that you will do. And so I don't want anybody to be surprised if you get a communication from me, because that is what will happen when you go into corrective action. I am specifically looking for CBOs that have late or not turned in expense reports, people who are missing expense reports, missing activity reports. I'm looking through it. That's what I'm doing this afternoon. And then what will happen next is you will get to hang out with our favorite friend, Leslie Bennett. And Leslie, I'm sorry I spelled your name wrong on my slide. If you don't know Leslie, y'all need to know Leslie because she is your fairy godmother of nonprofits business. And what will happen is Leslie will reach out to you. And I expect that you will reply to Leslie's email. And Leslie will sit and work with you and your organization to come up with a plan for how you're going to get out of corrective action. What do we need to do to make sure all your expense reports are turned in on time? What do we need to do to help you get your activity reports turned in on time? I'm going to work on that. And I will be the one to send you a letter letting you know that you are in corrective action. And Leslie will be included on that email. And then she will take and set up in a meeting with you separate. And you all will figure it out together how you're going to get back on track. This is a service to you at no cost. We want to see you be successful. I don't like doing corrective action. I don't like being Dolly, boss Dolly. It's weird. So don't make me do that, y'all. If you don't have your stuff turned in, I'm going to tell you to turn it in now because you will be getting corrective action notifications next week. And I expect that all of those issues will be resolved by the end of this year. because if we don't get those issues resolved, it's going to start impacting your bottom line. I'm going to pause. Dun, dun, dun. Because I'm still fun, but I need you all to know how serious I am. Yeah, Zach, don't laugh at me. Get it together.
I'm sorry, it's the transcription. You said I'm gonna pause and it said menopause. It's killing me.
Well, I'm not saying that's not happening down here too, but anyway, Zach, let us go to that next slide so you can talk about what happens in corrective action.
Yeah, thanks, Dolly. Zach Owens, he, him pronouns, resident fiscal dude supporting the public health equity grants. I like to talk about fun things, but this is a not fun thing. I talk about those too. So this can have an impact on your payments. If you find yourself in corrective action and you do not fix it, we will have your payments paused. For realsies, we have the language in the contract. So we have to give you 30 days notice, upon which point we may withhold payment. And this is based on reports being not approved, not submitted on time, being incomplete or inaccurate. So that's what we can do. I do not want to do that. It is a nightmare. I mean, obviously, it's really, really, really bad for you, but it also, I have personal interest in this because it makes my life miserable, because it's very hard to track. It's a lot of added administrative work on our end. It's not something that we want to do. So really, being in corrective action is just an opportunity to correct course. It's like, hey, we notice these things. We notice you're late or you're not being communicative. Let's just get on the same page. Let's fix it, because that's what we want to do. We want to fix it. We don't want to pause payments. We don't want to be the bad guys. We don't want this relationship to sour. We just want to take this opportunity to get things back on track. So just letting you know what can happen. We don't want it to happen. Positive news, August payments did process and should have hit bank accounts by now, within this past week. So if you have not received your payment for August, please do reach out to us, let us know. At this point, September payments are likely to be on the same schedule, should hit by the last week of the month or the first week of October. That's just kind of where we're at with our processing speed and capacity right now. So the payment for the current month should hit by the end of the month or the beginning of the next month. And that's all I've got today.
This is Dolly, I want to address the question in the chat. If we don't hear anything regarding reporting after we submit it, are we to infer the report was received and things are good? No news is always good news. And I will say that we are a bit behind. So some of you might have submitted something specific to your budget or an expense report that we might circle back and ask you questions about. We will always come and ask you, but if you hear nothing from us, you are probably doing okay.
Thank you, Dolly and Zach. If we have other questions, we can definitely come back to those at the end. But now I would like to take a moment and welcome Tony Scott with Family Support and Connections. We're so glad you're here today.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Occasionally, I have problems with the headset, so I just have to make sure everyone can hear me. So great, cool. Well, thank you for the invitation. I appreciate it. Hopefully, I'm not sharing anything that's that everybody's heard before. Hopefully, this is new. information. I like to share with various organizations that deal with families. There's lots of wonderful resources out there, and we just want to, add our name to the list for when you work with families and you feel like our services are what's needed. They're fairly, I wouldn't specialized, but really, Family Support and Connections is a child abuse and child neglect prevention program. The purpose of the services are to get involved before the need for child welfare is there. If we can be there for families beforehand and things get out of hand, that's our goal, is to reduce child welfare involvement. So again, my name is Anthony Scott, but everybody calls me Tony. So if you see an email or my name up there, it says Anthony, please feel free to call me Tony. I'm with self-sufficiency. It's a child abuse and neglect prevention program. It's not with child welfare. It is with self-sufficiency, because once child welfare gets involved, we're out. So because there are a lot of other programs under child welfare that get involved in, and that can't be us. So so let's go ahead and start the PowerPoint. I'm sure everybody loves PowerPoints. So let me see here. The Family Supporting Connections, it's a voluntary program that does home visiting. That's the kind of the idea, is to go into people's homes when they're feeling stressed or when they need assistance, and to do assessments and to work with those families. They send our contractors send in family advocates for those people who are referred. And if there are any questions that come up, please feel to raise your hand. Anything like that, it's fine. You can do that. Hold on one moment. There we go. So they meet with the families at the time and location that works best for them, and they look to identify and build upon the strengths of each family, and help them reach goals, and help determine what those goals might be. In order to receive these services, families have to have at least one child under the age of 18 in the home. They have to meet the income requirements, which is actually 300% of the federal poverty level, which is quite high. I don't think we've ever had anybody deny. I can't say for sure, but most people who get referred are eligible. And they can't have a currently active child welfare program or case that's open. The idea is, of course, what you can see right here, where it's designed to reduce stress and strengthen families to understanding of child development and parenting, access to goods and services, ability to effectively manage challenges in life, connection to informal and formal social supports, quality time and bonding with parent and child, and the capacity to foster nurturing interactions between caregivers and children. Now, of course, not everybody is going to be a good fit for the program, but you may come across families where it's kind of out of your realm. They kind of need a little bit more hand-holding. That's what this program is for. And so here are some of our contracted community-based providers. You may recognize some. We have 22 at the moment, and the services are available in all counties in Oregon. And some of our CBOs offer other programming services for addictions, maybe mental health, housing, home visiting, relief. There are some relief nurseries and parenting services. Each district has a steering committee, and that steering committee is made up of parent leadership, and they emphasize the wraparound approach, and they want local collaboration. The idea is to get other organizations, including DHS, to speak into the services that they offer. And as you can see, various types of organizations here, everything from options counseling services to Lutheran community services, Head Start, Catholic Community Services, Northeast Oregon Network, and so on.
Hey, Tony.
Yeah.
This is Dolly. Question.
Yeah.
Are there any of these CBOs that are on this slide currently in the room right now? Question to the group.
That's a very good question. I kind of looked through. I didn't recognize any names, but I don't work with staff all the time. So are there any organizations that are currently Family Support and Connection contractors? Neon, yes, wonderful. I can see that. Any others that I didn't see? I got so many, I only have 2 screens and I've got my PowerPoint up and I know people are saying stuff under the chat and I don't have that up yet. So I don't know if there's anybody else who's other than Neon. Is there anybody else, Dolly, that you can see from the comments in the chat?
I know that the Next Door is one of our partners, I believe.
Okay, Next Door, absolutely.
And a CEC is you know all the things. I think a number of these are actually.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Always love it when we have contractors that have multiple contracts that can, braid the services and they interconnect and they can get multiple points of assistance. So some of the comments that we get about the program, here, let me pull up my notes over here. These are some of the people that you might be seeing that might need the services. My child has a special need. I'm feeling very overwhelmed and alone as a parent. We get that quite a bit. New parents, families who are struggling financially, because we do have some funding that's available to help families. So I want to emphasize that there is flex funding. Now, granted, it's not an organization that, oh, I have a family that needs help with rent, so we're just going to send in the Family Support Connections. It's not technically built that way, because it is this holistic way of serving the family. It's not I'm going in, getting my rent help and again leaving. It's more than that. So I want to emphasize that. But it is available. They try to work with families to, how are we going to address the idea of rent or whatever it is you need on an ongoing basis? It's those types of things. So one moment. Keep having to put things down so I can see stuff. Early supports before higher levels of intervention. That's what we're looking for here. We get referred families often experience issues with substance abuse, mental health challenges, domestic violence, homelessness or risk of homelessness, and other various unmet needs. When we offer FS&C, it may be helpful to reflect and validate and normalize the challenges and struggles that families have shared with you. Let's see, let's go on to the next. Okay, so one of the goals is to increase protective factors, and those protective factors are parent, right here you can see in the umbrella, parental resilience, nurturing and attachment, knowledge of parenting and child development, concrete support in times of need, social connections, and social emotional competence of children, and of course to decrease risks associated with child maltreatment and child welfare involvement. If you see down here at the bottom, there's a link. If you go to that link, it'll bring you to the website, Support for Families. And if you come across a family that you feel should get a phone call, you click on here, or you can refer the individual themselves. So you can do self-referral, or you can refer on behalf of a person. It'll go directly to the organization in that district or county, and they'll get the information, and then they will reach out to the individual, hopefully within 2 business days. That's our goal. And it doesn't take very long to fill out. There are a bunch of questions, but only a few are required. And all counties have at least 1 provider. Some have 2, so you may have to make a choice. But you don't have to actually make a choice. If you're not 100% sure, would be the best. We can take care of that as well. So we really want to make it as easy as possible for people to make a referral to our services. These are some of the things that people have said about our program. We have high rates of satisfaction. Again, because it's voluntary, no one is required to participate. It's really they do outreach and they talk with the family, and if the family doesn't want to, that's fine. But the kind of support that they do get when they are participating is really, really good. And we're happy with our providers and what they're doing. So as you can see, helpful to have someone to listen, hold space during a really stressful time. Services really helped me gain stability, bringing household goods and supports, receiving support, having someone to talk to, not feeling alone. Advocate was a motivator, friend, resource person, counselor, clearly explained resources and honest about how they could help or not. Of course, we can't be all things for all people, but again, what we can provide, we will. Very kind-hearted staff, never judges the clients or their back history, which is important. These are direct quotes. So here's myself, and Tina is my lead, and it's just her and I. And if you have any questions or concerns after this is over, please feel free to copy this this link here and send us an email. We'll go to our policy box, and we will get back to you as quickly as possible. Are there any questions? I was kind of a little all over the place in my presentation, but for those of you who know, it's a very liked program. It's very small. We all know with DHS, there's the biggies. There's TANF. There's the former food stamp program called SNAP, and there's the subsidized childcare program. Those are the big ones. So there's a few smaller ones, and this is one of them. And what we're doing out there, I think, is really good work. Our partners, it's all the credits with them. They're doing really good stuff, and we're very happy to have them on board. So we do have a hand. Evelyn?
Hi, good morning. How does your organization, and I know it's a work of art, how does your organization remove the barrier of the parent needing help, but feeling like if I ask for help, that's going to be a sign that I'm not a good parent? How do you go about that? Because a lot of
Goodness.
Parents, they need, I know it's a loaded question, but it's needed. And so how do you go about that barrier? I know it may be a loaded question.
So it is an excellent question for a provider. And I hate to say that. I am by no means the expert in this program. My history is with refugees. I'm fairly new. I've only been with Family Support Connections for a year. And as an analyst, I'm at a fairly high level, which is the providers are not DHS employees. These are, as you know, are the community nonprofits. They are the experts. And so, I can't answer that question very well. And I don't know if there are anybody from who's actually here who may know a little bit. We have providers that we were just talking about earlier. I don't want to put them on the spot, but I'm going to put them on the spot in case if they know about Family Support Connections, if they're working with Family Support Connections, they would be a better person to answer those questions. So I'm going to give a space for just a minute if they want to speak up. I don't want to force them to, but if they want to try to answer that, because it's an excellent question. It's an excellent question. And it's a deeper question because it kind of goes to a lot of the things that DHS provides, because it's there as a support. And we know that, there is that stigma of being on SNAP benefits or being on cash assistance or there's a lot of weight with that with many families, and what you're asking kind of goes along with that. And so I'm going to leave a little space for somebody to answer that if they want to. And so I'm going to take that as no one. they're not as familiar. So I apologize, Evelyn, that I don't have an answer for you on that one. I apologize. Do you want to ask a follow-up? Go ahead. Somebody was about to... Go ahead.
I just wanted to mention we have some questions from the chat as well. And I see we have hands up, and so and I see Dolly, you unmuted as well. So go ahead.
I'm pretty sure Teresa is going to respond to this question, and I don't know about Maureen too, but I think they're both wanting to respond to Evelyn's question.
Then let's go ahead and go.
Hi, Dolly. This is Teresa with Neon. And like I put in the chat, it has really been an honor for us to assist our community members with the FSC program. We have provided assistance with those that have been referred to us by DHS, but the majority of the families that we offer assistance to, they are self-referrals. And they're mostly folks who maybe need assistance with language support, and just need a little bit of extra support in kind of like finding resources and support, I would say with programs that are already available, but because of a language barrier, they don't have that information. So kind of we're just like a hub for resources and support in providing like maybe assistance with applying for programs such as SNAP or TANF. But the majority of the families that we offer assistance to are self-referred.
So Teresa, you would say that the services that are provided can go from one extreme to the other. Some it's very light and some can be fairly heavy. Would you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely.
Sure.
So for those that are on TANF, we work closely with the family coaches. And so, I mean, we just provide, just, oh gosh, like you said, Tony, it's like from one extreme to the other. We can, you know, sometimes families might not feel comfortable going to their coach with the question, but they do feel comfortable sharing that maybe concern with us. So
Right.
I ask, is it okay if I connect with your family coach and share that information? Oh, absolutely. So I will. And yeah, you know, might say, hey, family coach, is there, you know, funds available to purchase this? Or, you know, hey, family coach, my client has a concern about, you know, about that. So, and then I do meet with them once a month. I try to be an in-person, but I'm always available over the phone. And so that's one, I guess one experience that I've had where I'm kind of just kind of like a middle person to try to get answers from the family coach, because I'm not an expert in all those different
Right.
programs that the DHS has to offer. But that's
Right.
one thing. Others could just be, you know, the self-referrals. They maybe might not have a family coach because they're not a TANF family, but they do get services maybe with SNAP or with OHP. So that's a different type of relationship that we have with them. But yeah, I just love the FSC program.
So do you ever come across people that are feeling a little, I want to say defeated, or I'm not necessarily saying shame, but there's a feeling of I have to come and talk with somebody and I'm feeling bad about that as well. Has that ever come across in your services with the public?
No, it
Okay.
hasn't. It hasn't.
All right. All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing, Teresa. It's nice to see you again. Maureen, you have your hand up?
Yeah, this is really interesting and seems like a really cool program. And Teresa might have just answered my question, kind of, but we work with schools to develop more support services for students and families. And so I was just thinking about there's sometimes schools have like family resource navigators or like kind of similar positions. So I was wondering if there's an intentional connection to the school, or if that's like a community by community or provider by provider kind of thing, or if there's our conversations with the Department of Ed at the level that you're at, Anthony. Kind of thinking about how can we connect all these things that are
Sure.
all working to support people.
Right. So Family Support and Connections for many, many years was connected directly with people on TANF, with families on TANF. It was strictly a TANF program. And only within the last couple of years have we received funding from the legislature to expand the services. And so we're looking at eligibility beyond when I was talking about 300% of the federal poverty level, that exceeds the requirements for TANF. So we've expanded eligibility. And so what that means is the providers used to have just a straight pipeline. It was just they would get the family coach referral or something, or maybe they would get a self-referral, but they would have to be on TANF. So it's now come down to how are we get the word out? And so that's one of the reasons why I'm here. I do what I can. Tina does what she can, but it's also incumbent upon the providers to make that local connection, especially with schools and other resource providers to kind of get out there. And so Department of Ed, it's more localized, not so much at the state level as it would be school level or even district level. And that will again depend upon the provider, the contractor getting out there. And this, and admittedly, this is a little newer for some to kind of get out there and spread the word about Family Support Connections because of its history. But I think they're doing a really good job, and there's always more connections to be made. But it's I think it's a program that when people find out about it, they, oh, now that's good to know. They put it in their back pocket, they put it in their tool bag of resources, and they're able to make the referrals when needed. So it is more incumbent upon the providers to do more local. I like to do this kind of stuff if I can, if I get invited, that is more statewide if possible. So.
I'll just also share, Tony, if I might, that the services and the support that we provide, it's not just like you can only provide this type of support, but it's all inclusive. I've connected families with our local resources regarding, for example, utility assistance, school, you mentioned schools, or schools was mentioned. In our area, we have a care program that's school specific, and they might have resources to purchase PE clothes or a calculator. And so I look at my my position in this program as connecting families with resources within our community. So some of that might be, funding from FSC, or some of it might be school support from the CARE program. We also have Community Connections here that provides support with rental assistance, but maybe these families they don't know about those programs, and they don't know about those resources. So I kind of see myself as like a hub to connect families with those resources and that support in our area.
Wonderful. Am I missing anything else?
Wanted to read a question from the chat. Does this program work with Ben Lapine's McKinney-Vento program?
I could not tell you if the Ben Lapine, what we would call District 10 in DHS world, that's District 10. I couldn't tell you that if they are not working with specific. They can. So if you come across, if you wanted to reach out to the contractor for that district, and if you go to the website, which I put in the chat, by the way, that will take you to our team website, and it'll have all the district providers. You click on them, and they will, you can reach out to them. And if you have a family or something, we want to work with Family Support Connections and McKinney-Vento programs, it would be that would be an excellent connection, most definitely. And the question, I had a similar question just to find out if this service is available in the rural areas of Oregon. Every district has at least one provider. Some districts have more. The change, did I hear you say the policy has changed from 300% or 300 poverty level, 300% of the federal poverty level? Sometimes parents exceed that number that have other parenting issues. So prior to the expansion, it was simply individuals who are eligible and or receiving TANF, which the federal the connection to the federal poverty level it's much lower. It's like 30% of the federal poverty. That's the income limit. So right now it's at 300% of the federal poverty limit. And I understand that there are going to be families who exceed that may need these services, but unfortunately at this point the money is limited, so we have to put some types of restrictions on the program and its access That's not to say that couldn't change in the future. Again, the services are connected to TANF funding, so there is some restrictions based on that as well. We do have some leeway within the TANF program on who we can serve, and right now it's up to 300% of the federal poverty level. What the future holds, I do not know. Evelyn, is your hand still up, Evelyn, or did you have a follow-up question?
I'll be very brief. My
No
thought
problem.
on that is there are some parents that do not need the backpack or the lunch paid for, the utility bill.
Right.
But if
Right.
they are able, and this is just food for thought, if that parent is able to get other services that could help them on the behavioral side through this program,
Mhm.
that parent could be the funder of the other parents that are in need. Just a thought.
Not a bad thought. Not a bad thought. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. Any other questions? Maybe I missed something that's in the chat. I just was I sharing my screen when I was doing the PowerPoint? Was it being shared?
I believe Nathan is sharing his.
Tony, I got you.
Yeah, Nathan's got it.
It's one of those. I just did this the other day. Everything was fine. And just a second ago, I was clicking. I was like, oh, I better not. You know how you're sharing your screen when you're doing a presentation, and it's like, oh, I can't put it on this screen because I'm sharing. And then I noticed I wasn't sharing at all my PowerPoint. What's that? And because you guys were probably thinking, what is this guy referencing? Anyway, thank you, Nathan. I appreciate that. It's like I've been with DHS for like a long time. I still can't seem to get it right from time to time. It is what it is. I'm sure none of you have ever done anything like that before. So again, there's that email. If you guys have any follow-up, we'd be happy, either myself or Tina would be happy to sit down and talk with you about some specifics, especially, you know, it's like, well, I know in my area, like for example, District 10, I believe that's Neighbor Impact, our provider out there. If you want to sit down and talk with us about how can I get in touch with them, or this is great, can we have a little bit more information? Be happy to do it. It's not a problem. Again, it's a small program, but it's a really good program, and it kind of fills that need that might go beyond what you're able to do in your role. And it's like, I wish, sometimes we occasionally have families where I wish that I was able to do a little bit more, or there was somebody who can do a little bit more, because of that's where we come in. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate your willingness to sit and listen to me.
Thank you so much, Tony. That was amazing.
Absolutely.
We appreciate your time. And I know we only have a little bit of time, so hopefully we can run through some of these upcoming events. First up is happening today, September 6th at 4 p.m. Future Generations Collaborative Backpack Bonanza. So that is today at 4 p.m. Next slide. Guerras, hopefully I said that okay. Latinas Harvest Festival. That's happening tomorrow from 3 to 6 p.m. in Portland. And next up, we have the Get Ready Preparedness event in Hood River. This is on Saturday, September 21st from 10 to 1 p.m. Gosh, so many great events. And we also have Met Group Technical Assistance. It looks like we have 2 different upcoming sessions on September 19th. Crafting Powerful Case Support and Messages. And on October 22nd, Identifying, Growing, and Cultivating Supporters. Amazing. Thank you. Another upcoming event this month, Clackamas Free Clinic, the 5K run walk for healthcare. That is on September 22nd at 9 a.m. at the Clackamas Community College. Amazing. So many great events coming up. And another Future Generations Collaborative, Indigenous Peoples Day celebration on October 14th. It's really exciting as well. And we also wanted to take a moment to highlight just a couple resources. And I also see we have hands up. So Evelyn, I don't know if your hand is still up, and then Angelica, I see your hand as well. So before we move to resources, if you would like to share, go for it.
Yes, I just wanted to know the CBO AOHA collaboration party next year. What is the date?
Oh, the date of the party. Gosh.
April 23rd, I believe.
April 23rd, we believe, but I feel like by the end of this meeting, we can confirm that for you, Evelyn, for sure. We got to look at our calendars. And Angelica or Angelica, how I don't know how you pronounce it. Would you like?
Angelica. Angelica Pulido from ICO. Thank you. Just want to invite you all to our annual fundraiser. It's the end of this month. So it's a Thursday, September 26th. I put the link in the chat. We're celebrating just kind of 1 year of being at our Dream Center. We've had so much happen, and we're planning a lot of community resilience initiatives. This is going to kind of help us launch some of those. And we're going to be featuring our Back to Our Roots project. So we just had 11 folks from our youth programs go to Kenya and go have like an educational trip there. Abdel could talk about it a little bit better, but there's going to be a lot of really cool stuff happening. So we'd love for y'all to be there. Tickets can be purchased there. You can also purchase them day of. And yeah, you get to come see the Dream Center. So highly recommend. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. That's so exciting. And Melissa, I see your hand up. Would you like to share?
Yes. Hi everyone. Sorry, I'm a little sick, but I wanted to put a little plug. I've been coordinating a Latinx CBO meeting. We did one, I think, in July, and the next one we're hoping to have in October. So it's any Latinx CBOs that are doing work directly with the Latino community with tobacco prevention or education. So if anyone is interested, I know we had really awesome turnout or a lot of folks come in July, but if anyone else that you know, we're hoping to expand not just in the Tri-County area, but throughout the state. That would be awesome. I'll put my contact info in the chat, and then I'll be sending out like a doodle poll or just a quick like little intro soon. But the next meeting would be maybe the second week of October or so.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing, Melissa. Appreciate that. And I also wanted to highlight, we have confirmed April 23rd, 2025 for the CBO celebration and conference. Please mark yourself busy that day. We definitely want to see you there, April 23rd. Yay, Evelyn. Yay. And I believe this is the portion where we have some resources, preschool promise. We have a flyer for that. We want to move to the next slide. Wildfire resources as well. We want to make sure that we are providing that with that information. And I don't know if we have any other ones to share today. What's on your mind? It looks like we have a few minutes, and I don't know if my colleagues, if I have missed anything in the chat or anything anyone would like to share in these last few minutes, please do so. I love the energy in here today. So. Any final thoughts or things that I missed? Make sure to read the chat for contact information and for events. Some links in there as well. Not, we can end a few minutes early. And thank you everyone for being here. I hope you stay hydrated and keep yourself well this weekend and take care of yourself. I appreciate you being here. Take care, everyone.